I say this jokingly. Like I said, I love and I feel very blessed to be on YouTube, but they're trying to kill us.
And I used to hide when we would record. I wouldn't even record in front of Nathan. I would take the camera and hide from my own husband and speak in front of it. So if you think you're awkward.
The thing I like about YouTube that I don't like about other social media,
I saw an issue in the space that nobody did an actual review. Now my whole personality's interjected in the video, which not everybody likes, but it's okay. You can't do it for them, you gotta do it for you.
don't let the fear of negative comments stop you from releasing. You can block them. If you don't upload a video, and we talk to people all the time, we've recorded 20, 30, 50 videos, and I haven't uploaded even a single one because they're scared.
It's your channel, it's your home. So you don't want anybody to come to your door and say, hey, you suck. Okay.
YouTube has gotten a lot more competitive in the last year, 2 years. Thumbnails. I mean, we have a team of 4 people that sit down for an hour every week, and we talk about the thumbnail.
What does a 1 million viewed video make? You know, I was afraid to tell her I lived in an RV because some people think, oh, you live in a van down by the river. I mean, it doesn't sound like really great on a, dating profile.
It's gotten more competitive, obviously. High quality videos have become easier. You can whip out an iPhone and it does what a $5,000 camera did 5 years ago.
If you're trying to figure out what should your channel be about, those of you that have not already decided, just if I can be, again, inspiration, that no matter how amazing you think somebody's work looks on YouTube, if you have a passion for that and a voice that you want to share it, do it. And just like Matt said, our first few videos suck. I mean, they're terrible. I'm Tom.
And I'm Cheri.
And we're EnjoyTheJourney.Life. Have you ever wanted to start a YouTube channel, not just about RV life, but about anything you're passionate about? Well, we've got a treat for you guys today because we've got 5 of the top RV living YouTube channels sharing their secrets, their tips. How did they build successful businesses? Let's get into it.
So we're going to be hearing from all of our panelists here on what it takes to be a YouTube creator and what that lifestyle is like for them and how they got into it. So really excited to hear all that. They will introduce themselves here in just a moment. You guys know I'm Ryan Jervis. I work at Liquor for 2 years, blah, 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 blah. So I'll go ahead and let them introduce themselves and then we'll go from there.
We start from that side.
I'm Marissa, and this is
Nathan.
And we have a travel brand on YouTube called Let's Junk Journey. We hit the road in May of 2015 to live in an RV, so it's been quite the adventure. We have an 8-year-old daughter and a 3-year-old son, and yeah, we started out doing little other things on the road before we got into YouTube. It was kind of a YouTube accident, but a happy accident. Is that what Bob Ross says? Yeah. And so it's just been an amazing journey.
Hello guys, my name is Jen, and I'm on 2 YouTube channels. So I'm here with Matt and Will. We represent the Matt's RV Reviews Towables channel. We do RV reviews on YouTube for fifth wheels and travel trailers, and then I also have more of a vlog style channel with Will, who's my husband. So we most time in our Alliance Avenue, and so we've been documenting that all of our travels and adventures for about a year and a half now, I would say. So yeah, so and I do the editing for Matt's RV Reviews, so I'm kind of like balancing 2 different YouTube channels that are very different. So that's our team.
Hi guys, I'm Tom with EnjoyTheJourney.Life. My better half, Cheri, is not here today, but the 2 of us have been on YouTube for, I think, about 4 years now, and also kind of like an accident. We were looking for ways to afford, how do we pay to be on the road? You know, how do we afford to, you know, to be on the road? And so YouTube was like, oh, it's this thing here, but then it's hard to get subscribers and get enough watch hours. And Cheri took a stab at it, and we feel like we lucked out, and a couple of videos really took off, and we got in the game. So, and I feel very blessed to be on YouTube, because it's such an opportunity to bring your message to the world, whatever it is. And I hope some of you are here not just to make another RV Life YouTube channel, because I mean, if you're passionate about that, that's great, do that. But we know a lot of you have other passions and things, and I wanted to be a motivational speaker, and YouTube has made it so much easier to bring our message to the world, and it's such an opportunity. So I'm glad to be here today.
Hello, my name is Andres Rossi, and my wife Leticia here. We traveled since 2019, 3 years ago, with our 2 kids, teenagers, 17 and 15. Now, they were 12 and 15, something like that. You do the math. And a little dog, Mojo. And we have a channel called Totalmente Perdidos, and by my accent and the words that you didn't understand, we are not from Tennessee. We are from Argentina originally, and we've been in the States for 20 years now, living a regular, you know, lifestyle. And then one day we decided to, you know, it's a good thing, you know, watching most of these guys that are here, so we're kind of new kids on the block. Watching them, being inspired by them, we just said, okay, we can do this with 2 not so little kids at that time. So this is kind of our story. Totalmente Perdidos means totally lost.
It's in Spanish.
Yes. So there, yeah, Andy and Letty's channel is completely in Spanish, which is really cool. So reaching a sort of a different audience and demographic in the U.S. to inspire people to get out and travel. So thank you everyone for introducing yourselves, and I'm really excited for this just because there's such a wide range of experience, and you guys all bring, I think, something really unique to the story here. So we're going to jump into these questions. The first one, a couple of you guys already hit on, which is fine. If you didn't hit on this question, feel free to chime in. It's sort of, how did you first get started into YouTube? What was that starting look like for you? How did you feel about it at that time? All those kinds of things. So what's the beginning of this story look like for you guys?
So before we hit the road, we stumbled upon the RV lifestyle. We didn't even know it was a thing until I was working as a nurse, so I was working like 13-hour shifts, 4 days a week, and we had struggled to start our family, and we finally had this little baby, and then for 4 days a week I never saw her. Like, I went into work when it was dark, I'd come home from work, it was dark, I never saw her. And we just knew that wasn't like the life we had been called to live, like there was something different, right? So we started looking at downsizing originally. We thought, well, we'll just downsize, right? And then that would allow me to cut back. And then Nathan was already working from home at the time. And he was doing like website design and SEO type work. So he was working from home, and I was never home. And we're like, we got to figure this family thing out. And so we discovered that, well, we could put our home on wheels and travel. And that sounded pretty cool. And we started filming it just because we had kind of came across a video that, it wasn't on YouTube, it was Vimeo.
So it's called Tomorrow Somewhere New. It was on video, I think. I don't think I've seen it on YouTube, but.
Yeah. But it was this family like living and traveling in the Airstream. They could have sold this lifestyle to anybody. It looked awesome in this video. And he's like, would you ever do something like this? And I was like, absolutely, that sounds incredible. So we hit the road when our daughter was 1, and we started just filming it for like family and friends. And we thought, well, we were inspired by video, right? Like, we're living this life because we saw this one video of the family. I don't even know if they exist. I don't know, but we were like, what if we could be, you know, that inspiration, that video that changes somebody else's life? It changed our complete course of life, right? So we started filming, and ironically, we filmed for a family that never watched. They were like, where are you? And we're like, we make all these videos. videos, nobody's watching. But other people started really liking them, and we're like, well, maybe we're onto something here. So that was, we hit the road in May of 2015. We started filming in YouTube of November of 2015. Because as you all know, there's an initiation process in the RV world, and we should have been filming all of that stuff, but we didn't even know if we were going to make it at that point. So then we just accidentally fell into YouTube in a sense where we're like, we're going to give it 6 months. We're going to give it all we got. We're going to see if there's something here. And we were working other jobs, so this was just like kind of a side passion that we had. And then 2 years in, we kind of got to the, is this a hobby? Is this like something we can turn into something more? And we made that leap of faith, and then here we are, 8 years later.
I did it just to sell more RVs. Truthfully, I did. I was a salesperson at a little dealership in Maryland, and I started YouTube just to sell more RVs. And I went to this big Gary Vaynerchuk conference, Gary V, and I asked him, or I had this problem. My channel, I was doing RV reviews, but they weren't RV reviews. They were RV walkthroughs. They were boring, they were stale, and they were typical RV manufacturer style walkthroughs. And I saw an issue in the space that nobody did an actual review. And so I had the idea of doing like a star system rating, kind of like a Dave Portnoy Barstool Sports pizza scale, giving it a 6.1 or a 7.9. Part of the problem when you're trying to sell that product is if you give it a bad score, that doesn't look good on Winnebago or Thor or anybody. So somehow, some way we came up with the idea of doing something different, giving people 3 reasons why they should buy it and 3 reasons why they shouldn't, and doing that on every single RV, which nobody in the industry did that, and also trying to inject my personality in it, and it didn't happen overnight. If you guys see when I was a lot skinnier, you'll see very boring videos, but then over time you just get a little bit more comfortable, and then now my whole personality is interjected in the video, which not everybody likes, but it's okay. You can't do it for them, you got to do it for you, and that's why. The big thing was identifying what other people weren't doing. That's what we started doing, and that's probably why you see our videos over X, Y, and Z who's just doing the same thing that everybody else is doing.
So on the Wil and Jen side for our team, we kind of were like really trying to find our path with YouTube, and obviously we had been helping Matt with his channel and everything, and we really wanted to create this vlog. And around the time when Matt moved to Florida, we kind of documented a couple videos, or that journey really through a couple videos. I think we posted like 3 or 4, and we kind of just let it rest there for, I don't know, a year, maybe give or take a little. And we didn't really do anything, and it wasn't really top of mind. And at the time we were kind of trying to full-time RV, and our focus was really just trying to get on the road. And again, kind of like Marissa said, we weren't really documenting that whole process, even though we probably should have been. But about a year later, we kind of stumbled back upon the videos, and we were like, let's rewatch these. And I think we kind of binged watched them one night. We were like, we really need to shift our focus and just kind of do it for us and give us something to remember, because when we were watching those videos back, we were laughing, and there were so many memories that we had honestly totally forgot. And we were like, this is just so cool how we were able to document all the funny jokes and everything, and the little funny experiences that happened. We had forgotten about a lot of that. And so it really, really inspired us to kind of plug through it and keep going. So that's kind of how we got started. But again, just like day by day, even now, we're still trying to find our path and where to go next. So it's always a moving process.
Well, I had been on the road full-time in my RV when I met Cheri, and we were on a dating website. We both swiped right, and I was afraid to tell her I lived in an RV because I some people think, oh, you live in a van down by the river. I mean, it doesn't sound like really great on a, dating profile. But she thought it was super cool, and she was working a job in Destin, Florida, and something she didn't like, and just as it turns out, she ended up breaking her arm, which got her out of that job. And I don't know how we got on to RV living YouTube videos, but like the first video is Kyle and Olivia from Driving and Vibin', and we're watching them. And I think we probably watched some Keep Your Daydream and a few others. Oh, the Winds, one of the originals, and yeah, it just kind of went from there. We had to get specialized therapy for Cheri's arm. It developed something called CRPS, which is very rare, but had to go into Arkansas for specialized treatment. So we got on the road just 2 or 3 months after meeting each other, and been on the road ever since. And again, kind of our first videos was Cheri reacting to the lifestyle, because it wasn't new to me. But if you've always been living in a sticks and bricks, and then all of a sudden you're living in an RV, I'm told that for women it's more of a challenge. Constantly reminded of that, and so and we do some RV reviews as well. And Cheri is very vocal about, like, who makes these RVs? Obviously, mostly designed by men, and that women are not often thought of how, things should maybe be, like how the bathroom is put together, the kitchen, or whatever. So our reviews have a lot of what we would want to see in an RV. Like the one coming out tomorrow, she's really opinionated on this one. But her 6-month anniversary video was one, I think our first one that really took off. Like where we were maybe a few hundred subscribers, and then that one just like, oh wow, we can make this happen. We're just regular people, and we don't have any particular skill, completely amateur at recording. I don't know all of the functions of that camera or that camera, but I can hit the record button. I still use iMovie. Now we have Cheri's son, Logan, who is using Final Cut, which is a lot more advanced than iMovie. But we can make awesome videos even with just iMovie. It's very simple. So there's, if I can be, again, inspiration, that no matter how amazing you think somebody's work looks on YouTube, if you have a passion for that and a voice that you want to share it, do it. And just like Matt said, our first few videos suck. I mean, they're terrible from a quality standpoint, but you don't have to be great. If you don't upload a video, and we talk to people all the time, we've recorded 20, 30, 50 videos, and I haven't uploaded even a single one because they're scared. And, just do it. I mean, seriously, we've taken down some of those first few videos. You don't have to leave them up, but again, just if you have a passion for something, upload a video. And actually, I wasn't thinking about this, but I'm going to challenge all of you. Who has already uploaded videos on YouTube? Okay, who has not and wants to? Just one?
Maybe.
Okay, when are you going to upload your first video?
I have to make it first.
Okay, you're in a great place for it. What's your channel going to be about?
If we do it, it'll be kind of like what you guys do. What your travels are, maybe get in there with a couple reviews of stuff that we use.
Okay.
That kind of stuff.
And what's your name?
Gene Wall.
Okay. Well, I would challenge you, if you want to take it on, that you upload your first video in the next 10 days.
Okay?
Seriously, you can use your phone to.
I've got a camera that will do videos.
Okay.
I don't know how it works.
And for those that were too afraid to raise your hand, that would be my challenge. You've got 10 days to upload your first video, no matter how good or bad it is, and you will be started on YouTube. For more great videos like this one, make sure you smash that subscribe button or scan this QR code right over here with your smartphone. That way you'll be subscribed and catch all of our videos.
I think that with that challenge we can wrap it up and go home.
Yeah.
We started up pretty much as this Drunk More Journey, just trying to document our travels and our family for our family, because YouTube is a really good place to upload video for free, and video people can see it there, people can watch it. So at one point, we started from day one to document it and uploading. Nobody's watching it, even us. We just watching ourselves on the camera. So I don't know how in the world people started liking it, but for some reason, mysterious reason, algorithm, people started watching it. People started liking it. People from our home country in Argentina, but people from the U.S. here that speak Spanish, because the channel is 100% in Spanish. In Chinese, I was going to say. I don't know why I came that way. Anyways, as some of these guys mentioned, one or two of the videos just start to get viral. People watch it, and YouTube start promoting that. So it's to us it's like magic. I don't know why. With the video that just jumped off the charts, we dedicated 3 hours to make it, whereas other videos we dedicated weeks to make, and they just totally tanked down. It's horrible. No, it's bad for your ego at that point. You're dedicated, and it just sucks. But that video, it's still collecting. It's about 2,600,051. Let me see. It's incredible how just one video can. So if I have to encourage you guys to do something, it's just be up there, try your best, and one of your videos, or maybe more than one, will get viral. I'm not saying viral, but it can go really, really well, and that will make your whole channel go up. Yeah. So that's part of our story. So all of a sudden, we were documenting our travels, and all of a sudden we have a YouTube channel. That's the story.
So real quickly here, because I know also YouTube creators post at all different kinds of different intervals. So Nate, Marissa, you guys are once a week, right? You guys have a scheduled Sundays once a week. You got your team on Matt's Reviews. You guys release technically a video every day between all the channels. Yeah. So they release a video every day, but they are a team of people, business. Tom, what are the intervals for you? Is it
generally once a week on Sunday, but now you got shorts, so you never know when those are going to come out.
Okay, so generally once a week for your full-length YouTube videos, and then shorts get scattered throughout that. And then you guys are once a week as well?
Once a week, and now, because we purchased a land here in Georgia, we started, doing it every other week, and a live video on it.
Okay, so yeah, they just purchased property actually here in Georgia, so their life has shifted a little bit. So you guys are now to every other week, and then on the off weeks it's a live.
Yes.
Which is nice because you don't have to. That's just a live. You don't have to produce as much.
We have to kind of be in agreement what we're going to say because.
Well, yeah. So for you guys that are producing, you're all producing regular videos. How would you quantify the amount of work that you put in per video?
So ours has changed a lot over the years. I think when we first started, if you've ever done wedding photography or anything like that, I've talked to photographers that when they first started, they're shooting like, 5,000, whatever. They're just shooting everything at the wedding, make sure they don't miss anything. But then the problem with that is, you probably guess, when you get back to edit, you've got to go through thousands of photos. It takes forever. But as a photographer, shoot more and more weddings or take more and more pictures, you start knowing when those moments are, what the story is, how to shoot. You don't take as many of the bad photos, and it cuts down your edit time like crazy. So in the beginning, I would say per video, it's probably an hour per minute. So if we have a 20-minute video, I'm editing 20 hours. But honestly, over time, I've gotten a lot faster than that. I'm probably 6 to 10 hours is what I'm doing right now. So I'm probably almost at the half minute, 30 minutes per minute. Is that right? Yeah, 30 minutes, half an hour per minute on YouTube is kind of where I'm at. Maybe a little bit less in videos. The process I use for that is I shoot for story as much as I can. I try to know the story if I can. I look for moments within that story. Right now, I'm shooting this. I was like, what's the story here? And I mean, Lippert is the story, and we've got a product we're doing that's a story, but ultimately, ants have taken over my RV right now. So I was like,
so that's become
the story. So the video is going to start off with, the ants are taking over my RV, and I'm walking around talking to people. What are you doing about your ants? It's anything from a flamethrower or poison. The kids are like, I just kick them out. So that's the story. That doesn't mean that's the only thing I film, but as I go through my day, I'm looking for anything that goes around that. Now, there's actually a sub-story to that, which is getting advice from our viewers, from the community, on how you tackle this. Because I honestly didn't know what to do. I put some poison out and it wasn't working at all. I mean, I'm not going to do the flamethrower idea, or I use the blowtorch, I guess. But anyways, too much. So I'm not going to use all these ideas, but that's the sub-story that came from that story is community, right? Because I'm talking to people, I'm getting ideas, I'm learning, I'm growing. And that's how my mind thinks. And being able to, over time, as you do this more and more, you can wrap your mind around the story within each video. Because we're all living a story every day. Sometimes we see it or we don't, but we're feeling something. And it's making us mad, making us happy. And if you can communicate that, you can impact lives with that. Even if it's like an ant or a bunch of ants, like thousands.
And Nate, when you say 6 to 10 hours, you're thinking editing, producing time, right? So that doesn't include necessarily shooting time.
Yeah, it doesn't include shooting time at all. And the shooting, honestly, is the easy part. I could shoot 40 hours. You're just like, hold the camera up, shoot. That's moving. So yeah, that's not including the shooting time. But I guess what we do with the shooting, some people said, I don't see you walking around with your camera. I thought you were a YouTuber. We actually, but some YouTubers do. They walk around, they film everything. For us to create that, sometimes we want to be in the moment, or sometimes I don't want to haul around my gear all day. The day before, I'll say, hey Marissa, tomorrow's a filming day. I'm going to be in your face, and be asking questions. I'm walking around, so I'll film a ton, like all day. Yesterday was that day. I was filming the ants, talking to people. Today I knew it was more about, we do 2 of these sessions. So we decide beforehand to have that separation, because I'm not being conservative. It's a question we've got, is how do you enjoy the moment by walking around with the camera? We do that by separating those two when we can. We plan on the days. Now, if you break down or, I don't know, something crazy happens, you just get the camera out. That's what you do. You make the face and whatever. But for the most part, that's, 6 to 10 hours. And the thing that's changed over time, YouTube has gotten a lot more competitive in the last year, 2 years. Thumbnails. I mean, we have a team of 4 people that sit down for an hour every week, and we talk about the thumbnail. You're like, that's ridiculous. To do a combined 4 hours between 4 people talking about the thumbnail. That's how big of a deal your thumbnail and title are. You can have the most awesome video ever, but the thumbnails are super competitive now. People are looking at that first. Yeah. They got to get through that.
Yeah.
I have no comment about the video part. The one thing I will say, the one thing I think is most important is, doesn't matter if you're uploading once a day, once a week, or once a month, find a schedule and stick to it. We are always at 7 p.m. and I call it feeding the beast. The beast is the algorithm. The algorithm knows that. The audience knows that. They know what time, and we stick to that religiously.
So what I'll say is the editing, producing time for a video really is going to depend on what type of YouTube videos you're making. So like for Matt's RV reviews, I can edit a video in an hour max because they're just so, there's minimal cuts where he's doing it in one take. And so if you're filming more of like those educational style videos, if you're filming more of those educational style videos, your editing is going to be a lot less. Whereas if you're thinking about doing something like a vlog, it's an entirely different beast. So for our channel, I used to do all the editing for the vlogs, and I would spend like at least 8 hours a week on the vlog. Yeah, it would take a lot of time because with a vlog, like you're capturing so much content, you're watching the content through to decide what makes sense, what makes the cut, and so it takes a lot more time. But what I will say, one of the mistakes that I think I made in the beginning is spending too much time with the editing that it could become discouraging to even have the channel. So that's one bit of advice that I would say is, if you're trying to start the channel, don't let yourself become over-consumed and perfectionist about making it perfect. The better thing is just to get the content out there. And so I think, like if you are doing a vlog style video, kind of cut yourself some slack, especially in the beginning of like making it so cinematic, making it perfect. It's better just to get the video out there. Now we've gotten to a point, once we got the channel to a certain level, we did invest in getting an editor for the vlog style videos because they take so much longer. So I think that's a recommendation too. Like once you get to a point where you're making money off YouTube and it can pay for itself, I would actually take that and reinvest it in stuff like that. Like if you can get an editor doing a lot of that so that you can focus on producing the content, being the face of the channel. And to me, that's a better use of your time of making more content and having someone else kind of do that nitty-gritty work.
Great question. Ours varies a lot on editing. Often it's our travel schedule or what's going on. We've got like RV reviews, they're quick edits. I mean, because generally don't have a lot of outtakes. You're on point with filming, and that can be done in a couple of hours. And I want to mention, if you do spend too much time editing, making it look too good, at least in the RV life, RV living space, we found that viewers don't like overproduced content. It just doesn't look real enough. But so it could go from a couple hours to some of the fun things we've done is we've started making like documentary length videos just for fun. Skinwalker Ranch fans out there at all? Very, very niche paranormal market, but we got invited to camp next to this spooky ranch with all kinds of supposed alien activity, but made a documentary about it. It released it a year ago, has over 1 million views. So not related to RV living at all, except it was a passion to express ourselves creatively. We have one, not going to make it out for Halloween, but a ghost hunting, staying in a haunted hotel for a couple of nights. So that one's coming out hopefully in the next month or so. Those we can spend 40, 60, 80 hours editing, a lot more. But again, how great your iPhone is, camera, whatever, that you can be a filmmaker, with YouTube. You don't have to get on Netflix or Amazon you can take your passion, whatever it is, maybe it's gardening, and you can make the best gardening video and have it take off because you're expressing your passion where there's so much of an audience. And I think our best videos, we don't even plan them to be a video. And I have a great reminder. I've got Dale right there helping me out with the camera today, or Slim Jim and Angela over here. We met at Sunshine Key last year in the Florida Keys. I show up, you're excited. Oh, it's the Florida Keys. We're going to go camping. You pull in, you check in. Time to get to the campsite. And what did I do? I locked my keys in the truck. So what do? We pull out the camera and start filming that whole ordeal. And of course, lots of people stop by with advice and this and that. So it just it helped make that video fun. And so that's something I would throw out there too. It's just, 2 words. use it. One more example, I'm sure most of you have probably seen this clip because actually a lot of people copied it and then put it on their channels or short form videos, and that was Crush's truck. When I crushed I took the new RV, the new Grand Design Momentum, crushed my old truck on our first tow, and because it was the first tow we were filming it, had no intention of doing that, obviously. And it took me 6 months to allow Cheri to put that video together because I was so afraid of letting that go out there, only to find out hundreds, if not thousands, of other RVers do that every year. So anyway, I like to say we're saving thousands of truck beds every year by putting out our mistakes like that. And that video did really well. So again, back to the original question, it could be 2 hours up to 100 hours, depending on the length of the video and the detail of the project.
Okay. When we first started, I like cinematography, and I watch guys that dedicate their lives to that. I have no idea about RVing, how to use a camera. No idea, zero. So we started watching YouTube. So YouTube, if you guys are watching YouTube, everything is there. So you can learn pretty much everything from using a camera to driving an RV on snow. And so we started there. We just purchased the best camera, a little Sony camera that we could buy, use our phones, use our little GoPro for the dashboard, and start trying things. And at first we spent 40 hours to edit because we, as everybody said, it's a mistake. We were doing that mistake of trying to make it perfect, and the videos really look not perfect. And so now I spend between 20 to 25 hours editing, still color correcting, still using LUTs and editing audio, on Final Cut. So trying to make it as professional as possible, but using more of the technique of filming less, more intentional stuff. So if I can recommend anything to do, it's just film. Be aware of what your story, what your video is gonna be about before you turn on the camera. Know your story first.
For sure. Okay, so this one probably maybe just a couple of you will need to take a stab at, but I think it's one that people will be pretty interested in. It's a common topic of people are always curious, how do you make money off of YouTube, and what does that process look like? So the question is, what does it take to monetize your YouTube channel, and what kind of revenue can someone expect? Let's do the shuffle.
Got to be a chart.
So
somewhere.
maybe
start with the basic, how do you even monetize a channel? Where do you
I'm legit going to ask, because I know there wasn't a minimum when we started. Is it 1,000? Is that what's that now? 1,000 subs? Is that what they're looking for? Okay, so 4,000 hours and 1,000. There we go.
Yep.
So for 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subs before you can start monetizing. And really, it's going to be such a small number. At that point, I get why they're doing it. But when we started, we honestly didn't even turn on monetization for at least a year, I know, because we wanted as small of a barrier as possible for people watching our videos. So if, again, and Matt mentioned this earlier, I'm going to reemphasize this. You are looking, if you're doing, now some of you I know are in here, you just want to make videos for fun, share with your family. This question though, Matt said, he talked about, you need to do something that makes you stand out. And so you don't want the commercials in the way, you want to know your audience, you want to do something that's different than everybody else. And it sounds kind of like a bad question, but you're asking yourself, why would someone stop watching somebody else's video to start watching mine? I know it sounds, we love each other and things like that too, but if you're in the same niche with somebody else, people only have a certain amount of time, you really want to stand out with that. But as far as actual numbers, with that, we don't have as many commercials turned on as we can. I know you watch some videos where they could have 6, 8, 10 commercials. We have, for the most part, one in the beginning, one in the end. Each video will make anywhere from, I don't know, $200 to $400, probably something like that. Nah, when it's totally done, 3 to 6. We look at our analytics every Thursday, so they haven't had time to go through. But you might make 300 to 600, and this is a lot of views. I mean, we're talking. That's not really. I shouldn't say that. But this, I'd say, 50,000 views. You maybe $500. Does that sound right? You might, if you turn on a lot of commercials, you can end up making maybe 1,000. So it depends on how many commercials you have turned on. Now, if you have enough of these videos, they do start adding up, and you got to think these videos are still sitting in the background, and they're getting. But some of you, I heard when I said that, because we couldn't feed our kids just off the revenue off YouTube. That's probably the main thing I'm going to say. It's pretty tough unless you're opening toys, we got really pretty hands for eggs. You know, it's to just feed your family off of YouTube. You can do it, but it's a much better strategy is to have some sort of product or something else, and YouTube is just pushing the traffic to that product. So it is good. It does help, but it takes a lot of views to do it.
Yeah, so we publish 30 videos a month, so you know we'll make less per video, but we have a lot more videos. As Nate said, I wouldn't focus on monetizing. The longer, what I always tell people is, like, we're about to hit 200,000 subscribers and we monetize. We are a full business and we're salespeople as well. So we do try to monetize at every situation we can, truthfully, but if we weren't monetized, we didn't do the commercials, we didn't take on the sponsors, I think we would be at a higher subscriber count. And so it's one of those things that you have to ask yourself, what's more important, growing fast or making a little bit of money? And we hit a certain level where we don't care about growing as fast anymore. We have bills to pay, you know what I'm saying? But because of that, we have slowed down on subscriber growth. And again, there's always a fine line where people, need to figure that out, be self-aware. But if you can afford to not, what I always like to tell people, try not to think about monetization or advertising. Try to hold out. The longer you can hold out, the stronger of a foundation you can make for a better channel in the future.
Well, maybe I will touch on the newer shorts for YouTube and what the monetization is looking like for that. Currently, you can get a few 100,000 views on a short and make like $5. I mean, it's terrible. But I hear YouTube is always changing because, well, now you've got Instagram, you've got TikTok, and now you got YouTube that are all like competing for this short form content. So they're all kind of copying each other, trying to outdo each other. So it kind of makes for actually a faster way to get started in YouTube if you want. And I don't know how you guys feel about the short form. I personally don't like it. I talk a lot, so it's hard for me to speak in less than 60 seconds. But that's the direction YouTube is pushing, so I feel like, okay, algorithm, I will, try to put some shorts out. You can monetize with just shorts alone and get ad revenue. It's similar but different from the regular long form videos, but that's coming out if you are great at shorts. So that's a possibility, but like Nathan said, you can't just survive on ad revenue alone. It's very difficult, so we're selective in the products that we agree to talk about. It's got to make sense, because what you'll find out when you start gaining some subscribers, getting views on videos, all of a sudden your email inbox is, will you promote this video game? Or will you promote some product that's unrelated from your channel? And of course you can't do that, because talk about losing subscribers. If you're just pushing garbage, that will happen. But there is good stuff out there. There are complimentary items. If you make an RV upgrade video, you can have an affiliate link for something on Amazon, or we're partners with e-trailers, so RV crushes truck, get a new hitch. Okay, we can promote the new hitch that is awesome compared to the last hitch. And so I would say affiliate income equals or goes beyond what the advertising revenue is per video. I know it's a big question how much you make per video. That's really close. The 300 to 600 I think is really good on average. But just to share, what does a 1 million viewed video make? And we've got several of them, and I think 11 to 13,000 on those videos, if you're just curious. So that's, and so it is a business, and so it's good to have multiple streams of income from your videos, and realize that, there is a way to make a living. And I feel like I don't want to work for free, although I enjoy the creation process, filming, editing. It is a lot of work, and sometimes you put out a video, you spend 50 hours on it, and it gets very few views. You make like $20, and it's like, okay, well, you got to make it up somewhere else. So we do take on certain select partners, products that we use and trust, and share that. And I feel like it's win-win, because a lot of our viewers are like, I do want a better hitch. I do want a safer ride, so I do want to, invest in something like that.
Okay, we have a slightly different situation on our channel. It's in Spanish, so
even if we have a US-based viewership, we have viewers around the world. It's super cool because you have friends all around the world, but it's not super cool because in most parts of the world, advertising pays way less. So a video with 14,000 views pays $60. So what you guys make 600, we make 60. So
don't cry, Andy.
I was always curious what these guys make. Our 2,651 video is it's about maybe $600, like that, something like that. So it's not funny, but not fun, I would say. But we don't depend on you. Obviously, we don't live out of YouTube. We have our online job since we started, because we knew it was going to be hard. So if I can recommend anybody of you guys, don't start a channel in Spanish.
That's competition too.
Thanks, Andy.
I have something hilarious. Maybe you should do an American version.
Yeah.
People will love you. You are hilarious.
They're great people.
We'll watch them.
I already subscribed.
Subtitles.
Yeah.
Just subtitles. That might be
Okay, so the next one, I'm going to be a little bit selective with the questions here. How especially, like Let's Drink More Cheri, I know you guys have been doing this for a long time, and a lot of you guys have, which is great. So how have you guys seen the landscape of YouTube change over time? And you can come at that question with however you want. So how have you seen the landscape of YouTube change over time? And do you see any changes coming presently or in the future? Who would like to start on this one?
Well, like I mentioned, the shorts are really threw a wrench. We've got some newcomers to the RV living space. Many of you, I'm sure, follow that. Bam, 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's like they took off with shorts form content. Now, maybe they're not really making the kind of money that maybe all of us make in the long form are, but the speed of change is increasing. So I feel like, yes, I pay attention to what's going on, but I also feel like the thing I like about YouTube that I don't like about other social media I feel like it still values great content, that you're not forced to put out a short if you don't want to. You're not forced to put out a video daily or weekly if you don't want to. If you take the time, even once a month, once a quarter, and put out videos people like, the algorithm will work in your favor and serve your work up. So it's a constant battle for us. It's like, oh, we need to do more shorts, but it's like, but that takes away from our creative time on our long videos. And we actually hear from viewers that, like shorts, So it's hard because, I feel like, I say this jokingly, like I said, I love and I feel very blessed to be on YouTube, but they're trying to kill us with all of the changes and pushing this short form content. So you really have to bring this balance to your work-life balance, and like, what are you really going to focus on, and not cut down on what your passion is for creating something. Still make great content, and you don't have to go big on TikTok or Instagram or all of that. But I mean, those have monetization programs as well, so if that's your thing, great. But I feel like YouTube still takes care of its creators better than most of the other platforms. But yeah, if you're going to hop on this train, it is constantly changing. Something we say today that will work, tomorrow it might not work anymore. I mean, and that's just the speed of change.
I think things are changing, but I think there's principles that stay the same regardless. If I told you exactly what we did 7 years ago, it would be really, really difficult because things have changed. But at the same time, I'm not texting somebody. I run down like some thoughts that came to mind of things that have stayed the same on YouTube that I think are a big deal if you're going to stay the same. I think you are. Unfortunately, the algorithm is a big deal when you're starting off, especially. So if I was going to carve my way into YouTube right now, you've either got to have a very unique idea with a very reach an audience that isn't being reached. A few examples of this. 4 years ago, none of this was going on, and these channels have now exploded. Matt, for instance, nobody was doing high quality, energetic RV reviews. Well, okay, energetic RV reviews. You now have. There were no solo female traveler channels 4 years ago. Now you have several of those that are blowing up. Jared Gillis is a great example. All about RVs. We met Jared when they hit the road. He was trying to build a channel based on their family vlogs. I mean, he'd done it. He was a video producer as his background. His stuff was high quality. So quality was not the issue. He was a storyteller. But blessed, I don't know what happened, but it just never took off. For 2 years, he had great content, I felt like. It never took off. Well, he shifted. And you guys have seen his channel now. He has high quality product or RV tips. Boom, he took off. He found when nobody else, other people were doing reviews, other people were giving tips, but nobody was doing it with a storytelling vibe, high quality vibe he was. So to me, that principle of looking for something where you can stand out, you can just take what somebody else is doing, do a small twist on it, and that works too. And I think you keep throwing ideas against the wall, but almost have a time frame set for yourself. You can't just throw stuff against the wall for a year. Throw things against the wall until you feel like, hey, I might have something here, and then set a second time frame. Says, I'm going to stick to that for a certain amount of time, because YouTube will drive you crazy. Just stick to it, stick it out, and find out if that actually works or not. Know your audience. That's huge. Know what they want, who they are, and then that's pretty much it. The last, I'd say, leverage your strengths. If you've got, we toured the double-decker bus. That is awesome. That is a strength. Nobody else has a double-decker, so you're leveraging that. If you have a super amount of energy like Matt with an awesome, you're leveraging. Figure out what you have that you can leverage and leverage those things in your videos and try to stand out. Again, you're trying to stand out from somebody else.
Nate and Marissa, one thing that somewhat in tandem with this question, not just from the YouTube content side, but just the amount of creators. How have you seen that landscape shift as well?
It's gotten more competitive, obviously. High quality videos have become easier. You can whip out an iPhone and it does what a $5,000 camera did 5 years ago. So the quality has become way more competitive. and you've got way more people coming on the road than you did before, and you've got, it's super competitive. But that doesn't mean you can't do it, because I feel like there are more people watching. But you have to be more self-aware of these things where you know your audience. How can I stand out? Because if you just come out and say, hey, I got an RV, and I got a family, and we're going to film it, and everybody's going to watch, it wouldn't work. It did. That's literally what we did, pretty much. 7 years ago. But again, it was so uncompetitive 7 years ago that just us doing that made us stand out, because all you had was the wins and Technomania, and it just wasn't as competitive 7 years ago. So now you're looking, how do I niche down from that? Still the same, again, it's literally the same concept, but you're just niching down even more than we did.
And people tell you if you're someone like me, sometimes I have a hard time seeing my strengths. I'm like, what is different about me? What do I bring to the table? But that's where comments are so incredible. And we always try to get in our comments, read our comments, answer our comments, and they're literally telling you what they enjoy about you, what makes you stand out. So if you're like me, I'm like, I don't know what that is, but they're like, man, I love that y'all are so open and honest. I love that you do this or that. And so that's really helpful, just interacting with your audience, engaging with them, and you're learning about them and how you can serve them, but they're also telling you what's unique about you and what is special about you and how you've impacted them, or what better way you can serve your audience. So listen to those comments. The good ones, not the bad ones. They can go on.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if you're going to say. That's actually a good segue. I was going to ask a question about interactions and comments. Like, how do you guys handle? Obviously, you guys all put out a lot of content, which the result of that is usually that a lot of people are interacting back with you, whether that's through comments or sending you DMs or whatever. Also, if you have multiple social media channels and emails and websites, right? So you have plenty of places where I'm sure interactions are coming back. So as content creators, specifically on YouTube, how do you handle sort of that side of the business?
Yes, the thing is, you can have 150,000 positive comments and you get one bad comment and it ruins your day. That's a thing, but for me, at least.
Yeah.
So it's just horrible when you are creating content that is pretty much your baby. Every time you create a video, somebody criticizing it and saying, "Oh, you look like whatever," and the comment normally is just right there when your wound is. They touch it there, and so don't pay attention to that. And what we did was to just delete and block the person from the channel. It's just censorship at its best. So no, I'm just kidding. But it's your channel, it's your home. So you don't want anybody to come to your door and say, "Hey, you suck." Okay, good luck. With that. So you just keep them out, and all of a sudden you're creating a community that's people. You're not saying, "Okay, I'm censoring my bad comments because from your bad comments there's some truth to it sometimes, most of the time." And but you create an environment and rules for people to comment there, and then your community automatically there's no more unlikes or no more. You feel more safe. And you see YouTube using algorithms and tricks to create to block them. We don't use any blocking words or anything. People it's respectful. You create and that environment and that community. And by the way, you answer respectfully, even if the comment it's a little non-respectful way, and respond positively to the critic is fundamental, and you create your own environment there. That's the way we do it.
Well, I would say if you're going to be on any kind of social media, that you need to grow a thick skin and realize that a lot of the comments are not about you. That life in general. There's lots of stressors out there. I won't talk about the different things out there that could stress us out. But people get in a dark space. If you are, you know, we call them, I think, Cheeto fingers or something like that. Imagine some keyboard warrior, you know, down in their basement that's just, you know, a troll that's just like, oh, they think they're all great. I'm going to put a nasty comment to hope to bring you down. And just realizing that it's not so much about you, it's about them. And if it doesn't resonate with you, it's bye. And like you said, it's your home, you know. And right, every video is a creation. It's your baby. And when somebody slams it down, we don't let it affect us like it used to. And you can hide that person, and then they can still watch the video. You can still get the revenue from the watch, get that view count. They can comment all they want, but nobody can see it. So they're happy and you're happy. But yeah, just realize that, again, that with the state of the economy or the country or whatever other stuff is going on, people are hanging on to that. Then they get on your happy video and they're like, you're too happy, you know, thumbs down, negative comment. And just realize, again, that's the space they're coming from. Don't let the fear of negative comments stop you from releasing. You can block them, move on. In terms of handling all of the comments, we need help. You know, seriously, we need some help to handle all of the comments. We try to answer the first few that come in on every video, but then we've got to move on. As you do filter, kind of like you mentioned, when you take out the bad ones, I think it attracts less bad ones, because when you get 50 comments, they're all positive, people are less likely to like say you suck when 50 of them said you're great. So you just monitor the comments as much as you can, answer as many of them as you can when you're first starting. It's very important when you're growing your community.
I won't take too long on this. There's a lot of negative with comments, but I want to kind of spin it in a positive way. My show has gotten 1,000 times better because of the comments. How many of you guys like seeing the RVs slide out closed when you see a review? Yes. How many of you guys like seeing the roof? How many of you guys like the prime pooping position? All of that came from the comment section. And so listen to your audience, especially if you don't know what path you're going down. As Nate said, your audience will tell you. You just have to be there and listen to them. And there's 100 positive comments for every negative one.
All right, I know we're at 2:08, so we'll do one more here just because I think this is a good one. What is advice that you give to someone that's new into YouTube or thinking about starting? What would be your one piece of advice that you'd give them?
I think we're introverts, so I think this is possible for anybody. If you would have told me that we would be creating videos on YouTube, you should have heard that conversation when I told my mom too, right? Quitting my job as a nurse to be a YouTuber, it's just you never saw that coming, right? But I think this has helped me grow so much. It brought me out of my shell a lot more. I was terrible. I would have never spoken in front of people ever. So I think that there's such a growing process in doing something that you never thought you would do or out of the box. And so if you think that, I don't know if this is for me, what do I have to say to the world? I think that this has been such a cool experience that anybody can have a platform. Nathan was a youth minister for 7 years, and we talked about that. We're man, never thought this was the path God would have us on, right? To get up and have a YouTube channel, but it's then every Sunday we get to speak to thousands of people, and we get to say what's on our hearts or what our experiences is. So it's you can have a platform, and that's incredible. And if one person's life is changed through that, it's not about, obviously we all have to make a living, right? It's part of the deal. But at the same time, it doesn't matter if you're reaching 1 or 1 million. Just focus on that one person that you're making a difference for. And I used to hide when we would record. I wouldn't even record in front of Nathan. I would take the camera and hide from my own husband and speak in front of it. So if you think you're awkward, I was so awkward, and I still will run and hide sometimes. I've gotten much better, but that's what they're saying. It just takes practice. It's just getting yourself out of your shell, being confident in what you have to say to the world and how your voice is completely different than anybody else's. Because I know this space gets saturated sometimes, right? But there is something that you can share with the world that nobody else can. And even if that impacts one person, and just keep posting, just keep putting yourself out there, and good things will happen from that.
I would say fail forward. So like YouTube will reward you. Honestly, the world will reward you. But the difference between failing in the world or maybe just within your neighborhoods, a few people see it. It could be thousands or tens of thousands that see it on YouTube, but it's still going to be a good thing. You'll be rewarded. When you make mistakes, share it, fail, but learn from that and grow. And just continue to throw things against the wall, see what works. We literally ran the mic out.
Fail forward. If I can do it, anybody can do it. There you go. One phrase.
So my biggest piece of advice would just be to go in it with the mindset of your.
Got a cool lapel mark there. Maybe just hold.
It's just to go in it with the mindset of it is going to be a long journey to get to a point where Matt's over reviews, Nate and Marissa are. It's easy to look at these big channels and see where they are now, but it's harder to see all that work, all that time, editing, making awkward videos that it took to get there. So I think the biggest thing is to have that self-discipline and find what motivates you. I know, like for our vlog, it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work making the vlogs. For us, the motivation was for us to be able to look back and watch our travels and our memories and see that. So find, I guess, beyond just making money from it, what about it do you love, what motivates you, and try to hold on to that, because unlike some of the short form content, Instagram, TikTok platforms, it is a long journey to get to a size where it's going to replace your jobs and stuff like that. So find what motivates you to keep on going, because you are going to have times when you're 10 videos in, 25 videos in, where you're like, I'm not seeing much from this. What's the point? I'm working a full-time job and I'm trying to do all this work on it. So find what keeps you going and know that it was a long journey for everyone who's a big content creator now. It was a long journey of a lot of failing and just motivation to keep on going to get to the size that they are now.
Not awkward at all.
I love that fail forward. That's awesome because, you've got uploading weekly. You think about, okay, what's this Sunday video going to be? And there's always a chance of failure. And failure is just not getting enough views to, pay for your time. But there's always next. When something fails, just say next. There's always next week, the next video, whatever it is, if it doesn't work. And I guess, if you're trying to figure out what should your channel be about, those of you that have not already decided, just, what are you passionate about that you could talk about all day long for years and not get paid for it? And what is that thing or a few things? Then, look on YouTube. Are videos around that subject getting views? And there are some breakout areas where you might be into something that doesn't have a big, following on YouTube that you could maybe develop, but usually you want to find a niche on YouTube that has some people getting some views. And it doesn't matter how flooded, like we've mentioned here, it doesn't matter how many RV living YouTube channels come out, your voice is different, your viewpoint is different. And like a lot of us got started by looking at somebody else's video and saying, oh, I could do that better, or I have a different twist on that particular thing. And that works for many, many people. And so look at the niche you're interested in, look at the popular videos out there, and go for it. And again, if the first one doesn't take off, just make another one. There's always next. You can keep making videos. It's free. It's free to upload. It's only your time. So if you want it bad enough and you keep trying new things, you can make it happen on YouTube.
All right. Everything was said here already. So what I'm gonna say is don't do it in Spanish. No, I'm just kidding. YouTube gives you a voice, and it gives you a platform, and you got a message. For sure, you got a message, which is different from anybody else. So that message, there are people that need that message in their lives. So you are the person, the only person that can communicate that message to that people. We all had our channels during the pandemic, and from 10,000 miles away, people locked in their homes were saying, don't stop doing this, because you are our window to the world. And that was like, oh my goodness, that puts a huge responsibility. So in that during that time, we were traveling outside. We were having fun in Utah, and then people were locked in small apartments all together, trying not to die. So it was an incredible privilege for us, but at the same time, it was a huge responsibility. So that was a humbling experience for us. So somebody out there is hoping for your message, so waiting for your message. So do that.
Wow, was that not inspiring or what? If you were inspired, make sure you comment down below. And also, will you take the 10-day challenge? If you want to launch a YouTube channel, upload your first video in the next 10 days and post it down below in the comments for our very next video. You can click right over here.